Welcome to Something Extra. I am your host, Maria Sivertson, and today I am here with Barbara Pennington, photographer and book author. So Barbara,
Yes.
You've published 2 books already,
I
right?
have.
Yes, and this was your
first one.
Extraordinary Women.
From an Ordinary Place. And it's a book of photos and stories about beautiful women ages 60 to 94.
And then you went on to publish your second book.
And the second book is about men called Not So Ordinary Men. And it's photos and stories about men 50 to 84.
Okay, and you're currently working on your third book,
My
right?
third book, yes.
Yes, and that's why we're here. Let's talk about book number 3.
Okay.
What inspired you to write this book, to focus on individuals with Down syndrome?
Okay. Well, I've been a photographer for 20 years, and I have photographed children with special needs through the years, and it was always touched me very deeply. The families did. And after I finished the men's book, people were asking me, well, what's your next book going to be? And the idea didn't come to me until one day I was taking an art class at the Peninsula Art Academy with Mandy Spisak. And she said, oh, Barb, by the way, I got a part-time job. And I said, really, where? And she said, at the Down Syndrome Association. And as soon as she said that, something clicked in my head. And I couldn't get that thought out of my head. And so I contacted her a couple weeks later and I said, excuse me, do you think that your administrator would speak to me about maybe doing a book about individuals with Down syndrome? And she said, oh, she's lovely. Yes, of course she would. So she did set the appointment up for me to meet with Tony Mully, who's the executive director at the Down Syndrome Association in Independence. We had a lovely chat for 45 minutes, and she said, yes, I think that's a great idea. And I said, but my only concern is, how am I going to find the subjects for the book? Because I don't want to go on Facebook. And she said, that's where we come in. We know all the families.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened.
Yeah, so we serve over 1,000 families, and it was very hard to choose subjects for the book. Yeah, so Tony turned to the staff. You know, we were offered, you know, a chance to be in the book. Some of us took up on that, and then we started recruiting some other family members. So what was your creative vision for these photos?
I wanted to show, as I met the families, because there was such joy. This wasn't something depressing. This was joyful. The stories that the families shared with me were some were heartbreaking, that turned into being heartwarming. Decisions to be made, joys and a lot of sorrows, a lot of pain, a lot of doctor's visits. But they were every single one of them said that they were so happy that they had this child, because this child brought them joys that they never would have experienced before. And just sharing those stories with me humbled me, truly.
So you, in the process of creating this book, you started to get to know some of the people that you photographed, yeah. And what did you learn from some of them, some of the families? Anyone specific that you would like to mention?
Well, there, Miles, Diane and Miles Fisher. Interesting story. This darling little boy, 3 years old, and she shared with me that she became pregnant. The day that she found out she was pregnant with Miles, her grandmother passed away. She was very close to. 12 weeks later, she was told that there was a strong possibility that her baby would have Down syndrome. And they're all mothers, as I've learned, are given this option then to either continue with the pregnancy or not to. And she said, we were already in love with this baby, and we proceeded, and he did have Down syndrome. And but he was born on her grandmother's birthday.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
So sweet.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And the closeness that they have in the book, you can see the photo of them in the book, and she really touched me.
Anybody else? How
Yes.
about?
So then there was Carrie. Carrie was the oldest person in the book, 42. And when her mother, her mother shared with me that when she became pregnant when she was 31. And she wanted to be tested, and the doctor said to her, "No, you're a strong, healthy Italian woman. You don't need to be tested. You'll be fine." And she ended up having a baby with Down syndrome. And the doctor was absolutely devastated. He felt so terrible and apologetic to her because he didn't give her the choice, which she wouldn't have anyway.
Right.
She loves her daughter's 42. She's a sweet, you can see her picture in the book. And the interesting thing, I told them they could wear anything they wanted, and she wanted to bring her party dress that the students at Kent State made for her.
Yes.
And her favorite thing is her slinky, and she said, "Could I bring my slinky?" "Absolutely. This is your picture. This is your story. You can do whatever you want." So she works at AI Root Candle in Medina, and you know she has a job. She's functioning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Beautiful life. And how about Racine?
Oh,
Racine's family.
Racine again was the next oldest one. A lovely, beautiful woman, and what her interesting story is that she has been raised by not only her mother, but her two aunties. And so they rotate taking care of her, and currently she's living with one of her aunties. And they all love her so much, you could see that. And she obviously loves them a lot too. That was very obvious when I took their photos.
Yeah, she's a little spitfire.
Yeah.
And what about Brock and Emmett Gibson?
Oh, Brock and Emmett. So when Brock is the dad, and he brought his darling little boy Emmett, 3 years old. And so when they pulled in the driveway, I always did a lookout. And he pulled in the driveway, and he took the hatchback down on his car, and he sat little Emmett up there. And he took some mousse out and put some mousse, and he was moussing his hair. And it was such a sweet gesture for this father to be moussing this little boy's hair. And again, this story, the day that they found out when he was a year old that he had leukemia, the same day they found out that his wife was pregnant with their third child. And they spent the next year at Children's Hospital. One of them was there with him for the next year. But that he said how much that the relationship bonded because he spent so much time with him during those difficult times.
Yeah.
And now he's in full remission and you see him in the book, just a darling, healthy
Beautiful
boy.
photo of father and son.
Yes.
And Beth and Charlie.
Beth and Charlie was another one that just, Beth, what a fiercely strong woman. She had, there were 2 failed adoptions, and then she was matched up with a family in Southern California. So off they went, and when Charlie was born, they didn't know until he was born that he had Down syndrome. And so the doctor said, "Do you still want him?" And she was outraged that they could ask such a question. And so of course she still wanted him. And he's a little spitfire too. And then he was the 9th child of this mother. All the babies were taken from her. And then she, 11 months later, had another baby, and Beth adopted Charlie's little brother as well.
That's another story that I can't wait for the readers to hear about. And Ashley and Jakai.
Ashley and Jakai, the double whammy, how this mother, so strong, brings this little boy, and attached to his little tiny little belly are cords coming out and attached to a piece of equipment that she has to carry around with not only that, but the diaper bag and everything else, 3 years old. And I love the photo of this mother and child, this bond between them, the love between them. You could see, I could almost feel it. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, she said he's qualified for a transplant. And so shortly after that, they went to the Cleveland Clinic. He had a transplant. And unfortunately, he passed away. And that was so tragic. I mean, that mother did everything for this baby. But in his short lifespan, he was truly happy.
Yeah, she was very strong to go through that with Jakai.
Yeah.
And the last one you mentioned to me, Carmen and Alex.
Carmen and Alex. Oh my God, what a love story. They are so cute. They're 25 and 27, and I brought them, the moms brought both of them to my studio, and I wanted to photograph them together. And he absolutely is in love with her. He calls her his wife, although they're not married. They would like to be. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. But the affection between them, and again, they're normal people, that normal in terms of emotions and the love. They fell in love. I guess they've been boyfriend and girlfriend for a long time.
Yeah.
And just so sweet together. She just kind of leans into him, and he looks at her.
And they, individuals with Down syndrome can find love.
Yes, absolutely.
That proves it right there. So what message are you hoping to convey through your photos, Barb, about individuals with Down syndrome? I mean, you've talked about these families, you've gotten to know them, you've taken photographs. There's 36 families, correct?
36 families. I actually, 33, and then 3 families in memoriam. Jakai is one, and then 2 other families that have photos. Another interesting one is Nicole and Alex, and she, her baby was stillborn, and so she had to deliver Finn, and it was, you know, I mean, such a sad, sad thing to happen to anyone, to lose a child. So she and her husband came, and I photographed them with a photo of Finn. And now she joyfully is pregnant with her next child, and everything looks fine. So I get the message is that, you know, back in the day, and I found out recently that actually there was someone in my family back in the early 50s that I knew about, but I just recently found out had Down syndrome. And the parents were told, as the story goes, that when she was 6 years old, they institutionalized her, and she was sent to a hospital in Columbus, and that's where she died. And that's what happened then.
Back then,
We've come so far. And because of the Down Syndrome Association, and every single family told me how much your association has helped them through. Because in the beginning, they were confused, they were terrified. They were inexperienced. How is this going to be different than raising other children? And they've been given so much support through your organization.
And how do you hope your work will impact the inclusivity and representation of individuals with Down syndrome?
I hope that people will see that, you know, welcome these families. They're not families to be. They should be included in everything. You know, they feel what we feel. They're so loving. The individuals are so loving, and they're capable. They do things that, I mean, some of them, the jobs that they have, it's incredible. And one is an international model. I mean, she's phenomenal. She's gorgeous, and another has her own business. She's married and has her own business, so they're capable of more than I think people think they are.
Right.
And they're capable not only more of doing things physically, but emotionally as well.
And how did it feel just seeing all the photos come together for the book?
How did it feel?
Seeing all the photos come together.
Oh.
See them, the final images in print. I mean,
it was. I gave each family, and I felt, and I wanted to do this. So for each family, I said, I won't be able to afford to give everybody a book, but what I can do, and I found this wonderful lab in Willoughby, and David Shockley printed beautiful photos for me, and I gave each family a 5x7, and I framed them of the individual with Down syndrome, and then them with their caregivers, and that was my gift to them.
I love mine. Well, the book is going to be launched on World Down Syndrome Day, but it is available for pre-order right now.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we'll put that up on the screen. So we're having, DeSanio's having a World Down Syndrome Day celebration and book signing.
Yes.
On World Down Syndrome Day, which is
Yeah.
March 21st.
Yep.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So we're doing the pre-orders, so we want to make sure that we have enough books, and then we'll have them on hand that day. It's going to be a co-hatch at Beechwood Mall, and from 4 to 8 on that day, we'll have refreshments there. And then we'll have additional books if people want to buy them. But it'll be a way for everybody to come together and see the final product.
And meet you, the photographer.
So, they're all like families to me now. The families are become my family.
Yeah, and you were just at our Sunburst Gala over the weekend promoting the book as well.
Yep.
Yep. And then we have another book signing the next day on March 22nd, which will be at our office in Independence. So that will be another way to, purchase the book and meet you.
Yeah. And so the proceeds are going to go to the Down Syndrome Association, and we're hoping to spread the word and hoping to share these joyful stories of these beautiful families.
Now, how did the title come about?
Oh, that was a tough one.
Yes, it was.
Well, originally it was going to be, I don't know. I
can't remember.
I can't remember now what
I don't either.
But it had ups and downs in it.
Yeah.
It had ups and downs in it. And, that's kind of been overworked, I think. So my other books have the word extraordinary in it. And so it's extraordinary women from an ordinary place and not so ordinary men. So I wanted to keep that same, that word in some form. So then I really had to be educated about Down syndrome as well. And so when I realized that it's the extra chromosome that creates Down syndrome. Is that the correct word? Creates. That creates. So extra, and I thought it's the extra one, and that's then the extraordinary ones. That's how it happened. And
yes.
And
Down syndrome, 3 of the 21st chromosome. That's why World Down Syndrome Day is on 3/21, March 21st.
March 21st.
So it's all significant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all significant. So the extraordinary ones, the extraordinary one, it's a double meaning.
Yeah.
So they have that extraordinary, that extra one chromosome, and they are the extraordinary ones in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all worked.
And then what about the book cover?
Oh, that was the worst. Same thing with this, and I thought this is even more difficult because I can't possibly. I'm attached to each one of these families, to these kids. I look at their faces. How can I can't do it.
You couldn't pick one.
So I said, Jane, who's a publisher, Jane Thoma from CLE Streamline, or Streamline CLE. She's the publisher in Valley View, and she's lovely and has guided me through these books so beautifully. And I said, you know what, we're going to have to do a mosaic because they all have to be on the cover because I can't possibly pick one. And so she did some ideas, gave me some ideas, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. And so I went back to her and I said, with all due respect, I don't like it. So what are we going to do? And so she came back to me with this photo of Eli. And
he's in the book with his dad.
He's in the book with his dad. And as soon as I looked at it and really looked at it for this focused on the cover, I thought, she's absolutely right, because he's like this, he's joyful, he's confident, he looks strong and happy, and that's the message we want to send. And so Eli it was, and Eli it is.
It is a good cover. Although we're all very jealous that we didn't get picked.
I know, and then I know, oh my God, it was so hard. I thought, how can I face these other mothers? We didn't pick their daughter or their son or whatever. But it was really, I have to, you know, Jane was the one that really picked it.
Did everybody hear that? It was Jane.
Yeah, poor Jane.
Tell her not to come to the book signing.
Yeah. So, but it works.
Yeah, it does work. I love everything about the book. Is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience about the book? Why should they buy it? Why should they support our organization?
You should buy it to support this organization that, you know, helps these families that really, and we have no idea what, I mean, the medical expenses and time that they have to take off work and the courage it took for them. They could easily have said, I'm not going to deal with this, and aborted these babies, and they didn't.
Because we were all offered that choice.
And the stories of how the doctors, some doctors even pushed them to do that. It's incredible. And they were so offended, as you were.
Yeah, that was my story.
Yeah, as you were. So I think if you buy this book and you read the stories, and you will have a warm feeling in your heart for the families that have been through these adventures.
And you are dedicating the book to somebody.
I'm dedicating the book to that family member who never spoke, who had Down syndrome. So I'm dedicating the book to Leslie Ann Harden and to Fallon Michelle Gentis, who is my neighbor. And she has always been an inspiration to me because she was born a happy, normal child and was hit by a car in front of her home when she was 3 years old, and hit by a car, flew over the top and fell on her head. She was hospitalized for months, and her mother was told that she should institutionalize her, and she refused to do so. And the most amazing young woman, who's now I think 42, has worked at Walmart for 20 years. They love her there.
Oh, with one of our
and she works with, and she's become friends with Olivia, who's who's in the book.
Who's in the book.
But Fallon has always been an inspiration to me, and the fact that, you know, there's things, and she'll say, well, I can't ride a bike, I can't drive a car, but she works out every day, and she does other things that make her happy. And she encouraged me to get braces when I was 72.
Well, Barb, I'm so glad that we met, you know, and I'm glad you came on here to share your story.
Thank you.
Yes, I loved working with you.
Me too.
And I'm already in love with the book. I know I've seen, you know, parts of it, you know, before it got published. But please go online and order this book.
Please do.
We will have the information on the screen for you, and you can also go to our website, desanio.org, and click the link there, and it'll go right to the website to order the book. So
Please do.
thank you again.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on Something Extra.